Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fantasy NBA Today, a sports ethos show brought to you by our great partners at FanDuel. I'm Aaron Bruski, joined as always by the great Dr. A. And on this show, we're hitting up top ads, players in the drop zone, and the best streamers that money can buy. So let's get started. Doc, what's up, dude? Who's your top ad?
I'm watching some Olympic curling, mourning the death of Johnny B's, my home away from home. And I'm adding Kasparas Jakuchonis. Dude plays for the Heat. 2 big games in a row. He had a great game. Last night I was all over it. I recommended him. It wasn't an incredible stat line, but it was good enough. 6 3-pointers, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 20 points. Game before that, he had 22 points, 6 dimes, a block, 2 steals, and 6 more threes. He's hit 12 3-pointers in his last 2 games, Brew. Now, Davion Mitchell is the backup behind Tyler Hero, but I don't know if we're not seeing the changing of the guard right here, because Jakuchonis has looked pretty amazing in these last 2 games. He got 26 and 32 minutes in those games. Back on January 31st, he got 27 minutes. So I feel like Jakuchonis might be coming into his own right now.
Well, yeah, and I mean, we got to figure out what's going on with Norm Powell, Pella Larson, and Tyler Hero as kind of primary ball handlers, but it does feel like they like Kasparas Jakuchonis as a name, as I'm going to be practicing over the next couple weeks, months, and years. And Mark Camaro, our dynasty expert, was all over this one as well. And I was lucky enough to draft him in our dynasty league here at Sports Ethos. So I've been just kind of quietly enjoying the recent results. And Miami doesn't really tank. That's probably an issue here. But the fact that he's able to get in there and put up these numbers, they want him to do good. And he's on the upswing. It's certainly interesting. And especially where PRA can pop, I think maybe you lean toward a speculative ad just to see what happens next. It's not like Tyler Hero is exactly healthy and or playing basketball. Also, shout out Johnny B's and rest in peace. I have never been there, and I'm on the other side of the country, and I feel like a little piece of me was stolen. I'm going to get us to Kyle Filipowski, who cashed in last night, 16 and 11, 2 assists, 2 steals, 23 minutes. Classic Kyle Filipowski line. Ace Bailey and he are kind of neck and neck in my Utah Jazz power rankings. I think I prefer Kyle Filipowski for the stability within his stat line, because Ace Bailey seems to be kind of more all over the place. And also just like the idea that it feels like all of the bigs for the Utah Jazz eventually sit. And I don't know how long they can get away with, or they maybe even if they got an approval from the league for what they're doing right now, playing their guys in the first, second, and third quarters, and then benching them in the fourth quarters to effectively throw the game. I don't know how that's going to keep on keeping on. I think during the All-Star break, there might be a memo sent out to all the teams with some instructions to not do that. And if that happens, I think everybody gets sat down. And Utah, they did get they got the win in this one. And that was unfortunate because Brooklyn won last night. And so they still need to lose games, which is good for Kyle Filipowski. Doc, who do you got next?
Anthony Simons and Jaden Ivey, we talked about them yesterday. They both played big minutes again. They both started again for the Bulls with Josh Giddey and Trey Jones both hurt. They are the guards for the Bulls. And Simons played 34 minutes, scored 23 points with 2 threes, 3 boards, 7 dimes, and a block. And then Jaden Ivey only played 24 minutes, had 13 points, 6 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals, and a block. As long as Giddey and Trey Jones are out, I'm fine with rolling with either one of these guys. I think I like Simons a little more because he's playing more minutes. He looks like he's the primary ball handler. And on a side note, Matas Buzelis played 26 minutes, had 18 points and 4 blocks. So far, it looks like Buzelis is going to play through the end of the season. So that's a good news item if you've got him. But Simons and Ivey, man, if you can get them, I think they're good pickups right now.
Yeah, and we are getting reporting out of the Chicago Tribune that Josh Giddey is expected to play on the other side of the break. So at least we have a positive report that this is going to happen rather than no reporting on it. And so that begs the question, Doc, who takes the hit when Giddey gets back? Is it Ivy? Is it Simons? What do you think?
It's both of them. Because Trey Jones is coming back too. And when they're both back, I think Simons and Ivy are going to be, they're going to produce and be okay off the bench, but they're not going to be starting in 30 minutes a night worthy. So they're probably short-term ads. I think once, like I said, once Giddey and Jones are healthy, you may have to drop them and move on.
Yeah, I think if free throw percentage is a concern for you for whatever reason, then Ivy might just be a little bit, less valuable. But at the same time, I think he's got the better stat set compared to Anthony Simons, who needs like 30 minutes constantly to stay inside of a top 80, top 70 realm at his peak. And that's going to be asking a lot for him when Josh Giddey comes back. And then the counter to that is that Josh Giddey has done a good job making other players better in fantasy leagues. And I'm curious if the Bulls, especially since they lack big men, will they just run these small lineups a la Memphis out and maybe at least I would say I like Ivy over Simons, and maybe Ivy just sees his way through this. So both of them could see their way through this, frankly, because Chicago might want to see what they have in these guys. So very interesting stuff as Chicago and the rest of the league navigate this tanking situation. Let's get to a team that's not tanking and a player who's done really well this season. It's Jalen Tyson, 16 points, 3 boards, 1 assist, 4 threes, 31 minutes. No defensive stats in this one, but those will come back. It's mostly the minutes and the fact that he's shooting and he's making threes and not completely wiped out. I didn't think he was going to get completely wiped out, Doc, but I think the last game was a little bit of a concern about his overall upside. And yeah, we didn't see the defensive stats as mentioned, but if he gets a steal and a block, this line is actually really, really good. So I'm not keen on dropping Jalen Tyson. It's not something I want to do. And we talked about him, I think, in the drop zone yesterday, kind of giving people maybe the okay. If you've got a bunch of guards or you're looking for upside or the low upside is just keeping Tyson lower on your list, I would consider adding him if he was dropped at this point in time. So I don't know if you see it differently, Doc, but who else you got?
This might be the first time in history that I'm bringing up a king before you. Maxime Reynaud went off last night, 21 points, 16 boards, a steal, 38 minutes. We didn't have any Domantas Sabonis out with a back injury. And we were talking off air, Brew. The Sabonis shutdown feels like it's coming, or it might be happening right before our eyes right now. And you pull up any player on the Kings game log, and all you'll see is red L's. Like they don't win. They just don't win games hardly ever. And Reynaud was pretty fun a couple months ago when Sabonis was out. He got on a little hot streak. It was really good. And then he tailed off and the Sabonis came back. Well, now if Sabonis goes away, I think you want Maxime Reynaud on your roster.
Yeah, I was just listening to former podcast partner James Ham over on Locked On talking about the youth movement in Sacramento and the lack thereof. And you had DeMar DeRozan throwing his water bottle on the ground, and then all the crew, I guess, what do you call a crew that cleans it up? I guess the floor crew in the arena had to all just like get out. It was like the ball boys and some wait staff. They're all just on their hands and knees because DeMar DeRozan's like, I can't take it anymore. And I think the problem is that he didn't get traded, and there's some negotiation pressure being applied on him for a buyout. He's got $10 million guaranteed next season, and the Sacramento Kings are notoriously cheap, and they don't want to pay the guy. If they buy him out, he can go to a contender and have a fun end to the story. He's stuck in basketball hell, but that little throw of the water bottle onto the ground might have been a planned thing, and get me out of here kind of a thing. And then you got Russell Westbrook as maybe the last veteran that's keeping this team from doing things. And he's chasing kind of accolades and stats. And he had 17 shots in like 20 low 20s minutes. And just completely ruining the rhythm. So the team's talking about going young. These two guys are standing in the way. Maybe in the after the All-Star break, you see something happen with those dudes. And if that happens, Maxime Reynaud, along with all of the other Kings we're talking about these days, they will get their run. And I think this might actually end up being a fun last third of the season for the Kings because they'll lose games and then these young guys will put up stats. So I do like a spec ad for Maxime Reynaud. It's going to be messy. They're not going to play the Pelicans every night, guys. Like that was part of this. And so they'll get housed a lot, and Reynaud might be the late round guy that he was when he was getting run earlier in the year. And I believe that's enough talking about Maxime Reynaud. Doc, do you got anything else to say on your guy or your ad?
Nope.
Andre has a question. Do you like Maxime or Cardwell?
That's for you, bro. You're the Cardwell. You're the Cardwell guy.
Cardwell. All right, let's get to my last ad, which is Scottie Pippen Jr. He had 11 points, 4 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, a 3. He did it in 20 minutes. And just what I like about this situation in Memphis, and I really hope that they find a way to keep guys on the floor on a nightly basis. And if they want to play them all in the low 20s, I'm good with that because we've seen Scottie Pippen Jr. be a late round value in low 20s minutes. We've seen Cam Spencer, when it all averages out, be a top 120 guy all year long in 24 minutes per game. And, Ty Jerome will probably, hopefully get back-to-backs covered here on the other side of the break. And, maybe a little less Javon Small would have been nice. But, like, if these guys run up and down the floor and play a 24-hour fitness style game because they're small and they're just trying to run up and down the floor, and teams on the other side are just trying to post them up as they did with Al Horford last night. It didn't work out in the box score last night for the Memphis Grizzlies, but I'm curious if it would work against a lot of other teams in situations, especially tanking situations. Memphis becomes a little bit of a stat factory. So if you wanted to take a chance on Scottie Pippen, I don't know that there's mid-round upside, but weird things happen. If he can be a late-round value for you, and then injury strike or time off strikes, and he's the winner, you might climb into some top 75 production for Scottie Pippen at that point in time. But for now, in a deeper league, or if you like late-round value, Scottie Pippen's good. Doc, you had an interesting call in our streamer section yesterday. Are you going to consider it an ad here?
It's a sort of ad. If Nolan Traore started at point guard for the Nets again, and he had 13 points and 13 assists with 3 rebounds, a steal, and a block in 32 minutes. If he's going to play 30 minutes, I want him on my roster. If Igor Joman is not going to play for the Nets, I want Traore in my lineup. But it's fluid, and we don't know. It's the Nets. There was no Michael Porter Jr. There was no Joman out there last night. So I had a feeling that Traore was going to go off, and he kind of did. He had a pretty fun line. I used him in FanDuel. I picked him up in several leagues, and it worked. I don't think he's a guy you just pick up and throw in your lineup and not think about it anymore because you got to see who else is playing. But if you're in a deeper league and he's available, you might want to go get him.
Well, I guess he just rises to the top or near the top of the Brooklyn stash ranks. And so you pick up a player like this, hoping that the next games display some sort of traction and credibility. Noah Clowney had a nice game in this one as well. So he goes up the ranks. Day'Ron Sharpe had a bad game, so he goes down the Brooklyn Nets ranks. And Danny Wolf had a good game, so he goes up the Brooklyn Nets ranks. But none of these players, I don't care. Hell, Michael Porter Jr. and Nick Claxton, like I don't consider them safe at all down the stretch as we see what happens next in
also,
Brooklyn.
Brew, the Nets won that game. They beat Chicago. Like, what are the Bulls?
That was an interesting development for Chicago as well.
Bulls doing
because Chicago's now actually talking openly about not playing the middle. They're finally talking about tanking, which has been sacrilegious in Chicago forever. And so if they get into this race as well and they start, it'll hurt the Josh Giddeys of the world. If they start doing that, it's going to be just one more team out there doing this stuff. And Brooklyn wins the game, and now they got to lose more. So expect more funkiness there. All right, guys, let's shift gears. Let's get to the players who are struggling, a la me with this flu. Potential buy lows and the candidates to drop. Who's your first player in the drop zone, Doc?
A guy that you were going to talk about, I believe, and I'm pulling up his stats. So if you want to start the conversation about Bobby Portis, dude, the thing that drives me nuts about Bobby Portis is when I vision him in my head, I think blocks and threes and some steals. But reality is it's only threes. Like there's nothing else there. So where are you with Bobby Portis?
I think he's like nailed to the ground. Like he can't really jump that much, and therefore the blocks are gone. Now, all kidding aside, I think he's Mr. Milwaukee, and it's this whole Giannis. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? You add Cam Thomas to the mix. We got Kevin Porter Jr., Ryan Rollins, kind of just like taking turns out there and shooting as much as they can. Kyle Kuzma tries to, but eventually, he gets boxed out. We'll talk about him in a quick second. But like with Bobby, you could build like a end of season strategy around him if you're Milwaukee while tanking. And hey, it's Bobby. He's doing good things. Okay, still buy a beer at the arena and stuff. But they're not really going to do that. It looks like. I think Giannis comes back and tries to win games, and so that's going to be unfortunate for everybody involved. But and maybe it doesn't happen that way. But Bobby Portis has been a top 100 guy with Giannis out, and this line, it's bad, and Giannis might come back. To me, that equals drop in most cases. Like,
do we know why he only played 17 minutes?
No.
I don't know. And because he played 37 on Sunday and then 26 on Friday and then 17 on Monday. I don't. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't really have a great. I mean, his minutes aren't usually that high. I'll have to get deeper into the box score for that one. When I looked at this line, I just kind of went, he's on his way out. I saw the Kyle Kuzma line. You see the guards shooting a lot, and it just, to me, feels like you've got agendas now. You've got, Kevin Porter Jr. is trying to rehab his value. Ryan Rollins is just doing whatever he can do to score the ball. Cam Thomas comes in. I'm sure everybody in the locker room is like they're just like, okay, we got to let Cam Thomas know it's not his basketball. And he has 4 points, 13 minutes, and doesn't really get on the floor, which is expected in his first game with his new team. And let's get to Kyle Kuzma in the drop zone, because we're talking Milwaukee right now. I've got him in the drop zone, and this is more of a public service announcement than anything. Like, he's barely serviceable when he's rocking. Like, when he's got points, rebounds, and assists going, percentages aren't good. Defensive numbers are completely questionable with him. And now you're adding another chucker to this mix before Giannis gets back. So I think the Kyle Kuzma run is over, and you guys can make that drop. I wouldn't add Cam Thomas anywhere, because unless there's an announcement that Giannis is gone, and or one of Kevin Porter Jr. and Ryan Rollins gets hurt, I don't think they're going to be giving Cam Thomas the ball and getting out of the way anytime soon in Milwaukee. And he needs to score like 30 a game to have fantasy value. So I would move on any of them. And if Bobby Portis wants to come back and get top 75 value on the other side of the All-Star break as Mr. Milwaukee, and Giannis doesn't come back, I'm willing to take that loss. And I don't know if you see it any other way, Doc, but if not, who else you got in the drop zone?
Let's go to Memphis. Talk about your guy, our guy.
Wait. He's my okay. I'll take ownership of Cam Spencer Island. Thank you very much.
Rough night last night. 24 minutes.
It was bad.
2 points, 1 of 6 shooting, 0 for 4 from downtown, 4 assists. It was a rough game. And my guy, Ty Jerome, only played 20 minutes, but he started and had a pretty good game. 19 points, 2 threes, 7 assists, 2 steals. Scottie Pippen Jr. got 20 minutes. Walter Clayton did not play. So
we had Cedric Howard also getting hurt. He had a knee issue, and Scottie Pippen Jr. started the second half. I don't see any reporting on that this morning for Cedric Howard, but go on.
Well, it looks to me like we basically have a 3-way split, 20 minutes a game for each one of these point guards. If Coward's going to miss time and Scottie Pippen's going to start at shooting guard, then that's good for probably everyone, getting Coward. Unless you have Coward, that's not good for you. But I'm a little worried about Cam Spencer, man. Like Ty Jerome took the night off a couple of games ago, maybe the game before this, and Cam went off and was fine. And now Ty Jerome plays and Cam disappears. Brew, where are you at? You're muted. That's where you are. You're muted.
Yeah, I was trying to keep us from getting flagged in certain platforms for certain things. Yes, I'm back. No, he's done this recently. He had on the 31st, he had the 4 field goals per game. Look, he passes up shots. Like he's a true distributor out there. And if a team is good at marking him in transition on the transition break, like he loses a lot of these sort of step into the rhythm threes. And he's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league right now. So like he's starting to get that respect. He actually just got snubbed on the 3-point contest with Damian Lillard coming back. But if you look at his game log, you basically got to kind of swallow these bad games and then take the good ones. He was on a top 75 run with 4 good games out of 5 in the last 5 entering this contest. So I think you got to take the good with the bad. And it does seem like they still like him out there in high leverage moments. So they value him. And he also plays defense. And that makes it easier to have him on the floor. Like just to earmark him these 24 minutes. I really think that they've just like in their little chart before the game, they're just like Cam Spencer, 24 minutes. If everybody's injured, they go Cam Spencer, 28 minutes, and it's just call it a day. So I just feel like we're at late round value here with the potential upside. And I just like this scenario in Memphis where they get up and down the floor. Also, one last thing on this Cam Spencer line, there was a lot of bad box or bad lines in this game. Like there's something about games like you get like a Pacers or apartment. Well, yeah, we'll go with the Pacers and like Pelicans game. And there's just like 500 stats flying around the box score. And then you get other games. And in this game, Golden State without Steph just felt like the teams were doing the same stuff. I watched most of this game. Like they were going to the same actions every single time down the floor. And it was kind of just like shot, rebound, back up the other way, throw it into Al Horford. Al Horford gets double teamed, and not a lot of just action in general in the box score. So I'll take this game and I'll toss it out. I won't toss out the Day'Ron Sharpe game, 6.7 boards, 16 minutes. I think with Sharpe, we're going to just have to call him like a top 150, maybe 160, 170 guy and just call it a night. And yeah, he's got this possible Brooklyn upside, as does the rest of the team, as mentioned. It just is so inconsistent and they don't seem to be committed to kind of developing this and seeing what happens. Even if like Nick Claxton goes down, like, are they still going to play Day'Ron Sharpe 21 minutes per game? I think I would say 75% chance. Yes, that's what they do. So we're really just banking on a lot of what if stuff there. And by the time you drop Day'Ron Sharpe, he will probably have another 19 and 14 game with like 1 steal, no other stats. And you'll be like, oh, it's Day'Ron Sharpe time. But I don't think we can plan for that. So if you are in a deep league and you're cool with a lottery ticket level stash that doesn't really have too much upside, I think Day'Ron Sharpe might be your guy. But for the vast majority of you all out there, feel free to drop and add something new for Day'Ron Sharpe. Doc, who you got next?
Well, I thought I was talking GG Jackson while I was talking Cam, but somehow it didn't happen. But GG Jackson.
Yeah, what's up with GG? Because you're the resident GG guy, and for what it's worth, when I had the game on, I'm watching GG and I'm going, damn, he looks good. And then when I read the box score, I saw 6-4 and 2, a steal and a 3, and I was like, oh, that sucks for GG because a lot of people are probably bummed out and he might be getting dropped. What are you going to do, Doc?
Well, it was one game, and he had 4 fouls. He was in foul trouble. Still had 6 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, and a 3 and a steal. He played 23 minutes. He probably would have played 30 had he not been in foul trouble. I'm chalking it up to one night. Before that, his previous 5 games, he'd been pretty solid, double figures and big minutes and good shooting and all that stuff. So I'm hanging on to GG and just calling it an off night.
Yeah, and I think I had GG, I want to say right around like 10th in my waiver wire article, which you can find over at sportsethos.com. And I just like the potential upside. I mean, in last night's game, like there was a lot of weird stuff going on, but you had I don't even know his first name. His last name is Mashak. You got really some obscure names, playing basketball. You got Kyle Anderson out there, getting minutes right now. And Gigi looks better than all of them. Though I'll say about this about Mashak is he actually looked like he might have a future as a defender in the league. But the point being is that Gigi Jackson really stands pretty far in front of these guys. And so if Santi Aldama can't get back for whatever reason, or they don't want him back, Gigi Jackson's got the ultimate ramp right now. I think top 100 value is where I'd like to throw his upside number. But if he does that and he plays every night, and he plays down the stretch, and you can rely on him in your fantasy playoffs, you can rely on him down the stretch in roto leagues, that will play like a top 75. And Jemai Mashak is the way we say that gentleman's name. He was just all over the floor in that game too. Like just, it was a Jemai Mashak game. I like Gigi Jackson. I think folks should give him a chance at the end of your roster. Doc, it says that you're supposed to talk about the Sacramento Kings. Does that look like
I don't want to talk about the Sacramento Kings, but DeMar DeRozan last night, man. 3 of 11, 8 points, really nothing else. He doesn't do anything besides score for the most part anyway. Brew, you said he threw a cup of water or something and caused a problem that they had to clean up. You remember when Jason Kidd dumped his water out to get a timeout?
I do. Those were great days. That was back when Twitter was a lot of fun. It was good stuff.
Dude, what is happening in Sacramento? Like, are we going to see all these guys shut down, like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine and Domantas Sabonis? Are they going away?
Well, I'll say this about Russell Westbrook. Like, he kind of practically owns the franchise at this point. Like, how they got him in and, like, how they're going to he's like the guy on the couch you can't get out of your house. Like, he's going to just sit there and stay and try to get triple doubles until – and literally, I mean, he took 3 ill-advised threes and had a bad foul late. He played as terribly as Russell Westbrook is capable of playing. And just – like, you're trying to develop a team and then you got this crap running around. And I don't think Vivek or Scott Perry has the stones to tell him to get lost or to hey, we'll keep you around, but you have to actually just not shoot the ball. Like, you need to develop these youngsters. Like, I don't think that's in his DNA. I don't think they can actually, and the same thing with DeMar DeRozan. Like, for the last 2 years, he has been demonstrably killing this team with his choices, and not one person has been able to go, hey, DeMar, that's not the jam, man. Like, we can't play or win with you doing this. And so I think DeMar's pissed enough about being there that he might just find his way out with a buyout. I don't know why Russell Westbrook's not in that same discussion, but these two after the All-Star break, I would give it about a week. And I think there will be enough pressure just sort of like internally and in Sacramento about like the what and the why and how is this continuing to happen. So I would probably drop DeMar DeRozan no matter what, because he gets cut and or benched for the rest of the season and then maybe lands at another team. I don't think they're going to let him do the stuff he's doing. So there's not going to be fantasy value there. Russ Westbrook, I would be a little bit more hesitant. I'd probably wait until the first week after the All-Star break and kind of see what they say in Sacramento, but it's a mess. I got a question for you though, Doc. It's a bit more important than what's going on in Sacramento. What's going on with Khalil Ware? Over the last month, he is ranked outside of the top 250. Over the last 2 months, top 125 per game, and maybe a little bit better by totals. But like, are you as crazy as me to just keep telling people to hold? Like, what's your deal? How are you going to handle this?
Well, I think between Musa Cisse and Khalil Ware,
people want to kill us.
We may have people who are a little upset. I don't know, man. We've been telling people to hold on to Khalil Ware until after the All-Star break, and then everything should be fine. Well, Miami didn't really do anything crazy at the trade deadline. Did they do anything at all? I don't know. Khalil Ware started last night, played 14 minutes or some garbage like that, and then sat down. Guys banged up. No Pella Larson, no Norm Powell, no Tyler Hero. So it's not looking good for Khalil Ware. And Brew, I think you said off the air something about this is a
Like a
game
threshold
of
check.
like how
Something to do with thresholds. I can't remember. That was like 30 minutes ago. I'm
if
flying.
Khalil Ware is hurting your team and you need to cut him, then you need to cut him.
Are you going to be the adult in
Regardless,
the room?
huh?
Are you going to be the adult in the room and tell people that they got to do what they got to do?
You got to do what you got to do. And I'm not going to be mad at anybody for cutting Khalil Ware. I haven't done it yet. I think Andre did it. I think Andre cut Khalil Ware today. If he was hurting my teams, and he might be, I mean, I've got a 10th place team and an 8th place team. If he's hurting those teams, then shame on me for letting him do that.
All right. Well, the two of you are some cold-blooded MNFers. Hopefully, we don't get tagged for that. You all got no loyalty. And I'm going to stop joking now. All kidding aside, like the All-Star break is a known pivot point. I cannot drop Khalil Ware at the All-Star break. I can't do it. He did get into foul trouble in this game. He had 8.6 boards, steal in his 14 minutes. He, in his, whatever 20 minutes per game, is a late round value on the year. That is about as worst case scenario as it gets for Khalil Ware. If he comes back after the All-Star break, and I know Miami doesn't ever think like this, but if they go, well, finally we should develop the guy, womp. It's going to hurt like hell watching him on another team putting up top 30 numbers, putting up top 20 numbers, putting up top 15 numbers. I'm crying right now for dropping Kevin Porter Jr. in situations where I needed to. There's like a gun to my head. I had to do it. I'm crying. It's going to be the same kind of tears if Khalil Ware is out there doing that for another team. So I would hold through the All-Star break at least and see what happens next there. We're getting questions in the chat. Khalil Ware or Justin Champagnie? Doc, excellent point there. But I say that all the time. I won't say it again. We don't want to get flagged. Can't get flagged. That's be the worst thing in the world. Khalil Ware or Justin Champagnie? I think that's directed at me, Doc, but you answer. You got Khalil Ware or Justin Champagnie?
I'd rather have Champagnie right now.
Wow.
Like, to your point, dude, like
wow.
there would be nothing worse than dropping Khalil Ware right now, and then 10 days from now, he's getting 30 minutes and going off. You're gonna feel horrible.
I have Champagnie projected in like the top 75 range of a 9-cat league. And I still think it's shaky with what Washington's doing. Like they might start doing any number of things to keep their draft stock in a good spot. I might actually have Khalil Ware over Justin Champagnie just on upside. And I'm going to be releasing B150 ranks on Friday. So this is like crazy.
If you're in a head-to-head league and you have to win now, I'd rather have Champagnie.
Absolutely. You got to look at this stuff. And when I release my ranks, there's going to be, a lot of that going on. You got to just judge, can I wait or do I have to win now? And also these ranks, I've already started them and it is going to be a bloodbath out there because the field is just so jumbled up. Like if you're not in there with a abacus and a ruler and a protractor and your pocket protector on, busting out numbers, you could get completely rolled. And I cannot wait to release these on Friday. Do you like Khalil Ware or Ty Jerome, Doc?
In head-to-head leagues, trying to win now, I like Ty Jerome. Khalil Ware at this point is a luxury stash.
Yeah. Kelly Oubre? I'd take Ty Jerome for what it's worth. Kelly Oubre?
Kelly Oubre or
Khalil Ware. I'll probably go Khalil Ware.
I don't know. That's pretty close. I'm
Reed Shepherd
Khalil Ware on that one.
Or Khalil Ware. I go Khalil Ware.
I'll go Khalil Ware.
Jarris Walker or Khalil Ware?
I'll go Jarris. Jarris is my boy.
Oh,
By the way,
man.
I've
I
got
think
all
if
these
if you're
guys on
punting
all
field
my
goal
teams.
percentage and turnovers, I'll go Jarris Walker. If you're not doing those two things, I'll go Khalil Ware. Dylan Cardwell for the last question of the Khalil Ware extravaganza.
I'm going to take Ware.
I'll take Dylan Cardwell. I can't believe I said that, but we're going to do it. All right. Who's your top streamer heading into the night, Doc?
Ooh, is he my top streamer? He's a streamer. I didn't really do these in order, but I like Dylan Harper of the Spurs.
Tell us more.
Not poppy, but usually always solid. 11 points, 4 boards, 5 assists, a block, a steal, and a 3 in his last game. He's good. The Spurs are good. The Spurs are playing the Lakers tonight. No Luka, and Harper's going to get his 24, 25 minutes like he always does. And I just like him because, like, for instance, in February in his 3 games, he's at 12 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, 0.7 steals, and 1.3 blocks, and 0.73. So basically one of each. With 12, 5, and 4. That's all I want from him. He's just seems like a solid, streamy, available guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's got pop. There's all sorts of roster issues there, but I'll take the guy with pop every once in a while. Let's get to Marvin Bagley, who could have been an ad, but he didn't play last night, so he wasn't in the ad section. But here as a streamer, I really like it a lot. I think they're going to see what they have in Marvin Bagley. They might even view Marvin Bagley as a piece going forward. There's possibly a Duke connection there in Dallas. His last game, his debut game, 16 and 12 with a 3, 2 assists, a steal, 4 blocks. The only reason this line wasn't much better is he hit 42.9% from both the field and the line, and it was on pretty big volume. So if not for those two things, I think obviously it would have been even better. But now as we get into the final kick here, I'm trying to pair Marvin Bagley with Moussa Cisse as much as possible. Moussa Cisse will have a decision made on his 2-way deal in the next, say, week and couple days. I think they deal with that over the All-Star break. And then once that deal, if that deal gets announced, maybe it's not a foregone certainty that Moussa Cisse gets the deal. If not, I would say there should be 29 other teams trying to figure out how to take advantage of that. But we'll leave that to the side. Marvin Bagley is the producer now. And Moussa Cisse, I think, will be the producer later, or at least I'm hoping for that. But if you can get Marvin Bagley on a stream right now, you're going to get points, boards, field goal percentage, maybe some defensive stats, and you could kick out the foul shooting, as most of you already do. Doc, who else do you like as a streamer tonight?
Marcus Smart for the Lakers. Luka Doncic, doubtful. Austin Reeves, doubtful. LeBron James, questionable. Man, if Reeves doesn't play, Marcus Smart is looking very good. Smart and LaRavia both, I think, are pretty interesting plays tonight. Smart has been playing big minutes. He's averaging 28 minutes this month. He scored 19 and 15 in each of his last 2 games with 5 total triples. He gets steals, he gets some blocks, and he gets some rebounds and assists. So I think Marcus Smart, especially if those guys are out, with a dab of Jake LaRavia mixed in, are both good ways to go tonight.
Hell yeah. And staying in LA, I like Chris Dunn and Derek Jones. Derek Jones has sort of quietly come back and stepped into a significant role. It feels like it's consistent, and it's all low-end stuff. If you're looking for a streamer, he and Chris Dunn, fit the bill. Both of them in their last game have had lines that count inside the top 125 for Chris Dunn. Derek Jones inside the top 50. He had 3 steals in the last game, 5, 4, and 4 in the PRA. Also added a block. You know that he's going to be efficient from the field. And Chris Dunn, similar profile, and both seem to be pieces that the Clippers are going to rely on to see if they've got any kick here this season. Doc, who do you got next?
Jose Alvarado, Grand Theft. He is in New York. He's getting minutes He's got the ball in his hands some. He's a great steals guy, even though he struggled there a little bit. He did have 2 in his last game with a block and 2 threes. So I like Jose Alvarado. It's a light night tonight. There's only 4 games. And let's look at New York. It looks like most of the Knicks are going to play. But tell you what, this Indiana-Knick rivalry dates back a long time. And even though Indiana is openly tanking and New York is openly going for a championship, it should be a fun game to watch. And I think with Indiana tanking and playing so poorly, there should be a lot of chances for Alvarado steals tonight.
Can you imagine? Remember the Knicks were the all vibes team with Tibbs and pushing deep into the playoffs, and everybody, it just seemed like they were just so cool, right? Like everybody was big on the Knicks. Yeah, Jose Alvarado to that team. That'd have been like the all vibes team right there. And he's going to step in, and OG Anunoby is actually questionable. So that might be one less piece there for Alvarado to get a bigger piece of the box score. But like 12-3-3 with a couple steals, classic Jose Alvarado. That just seems like you're printing low grade money with that. Let's get to LA again. Isaiah Jackson. We haven't heard a lot about Isaiah Jackson since being traded over there to the Clippers. We've also got Yannick Conan Niederhauser doing good things. So it's not like Isaiah Jackson is just sort of guaranteed to step in here and do stuff. But it does feel like if you're a team that's trying to make the playoffs and you want to, have a veteran push, you're already seeing the other veterans in the lineup, bringing Jackson into this thing and just seeing what he's got, also getting him acclimated before the break. It's a back-to-back. So who knows if there's any sort of time off for Jackson, but as long as he stays in the game and he's he's going to play, then I think it's worth a look-see if you need some big man stats. And that's going to do it for this episode of Fantasy NBA Today. If you're listening on the pod feed, please take 60 seconds, leave a 5-star review. It really helps us out. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the Sports Ethos channel so you guys never miss an episode. From Doc, Andre, and everybody here at Sports Ethos, we'll be right back with your daily fantasy deep dive, available exclusively on the Fantasy NBA Today pod feed and the Sports Ethos YouTube channel. This has been Fantasy NBA Today, presented by FanDuel.